Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat Podcast. Today is episode 133. We're continuing our series of running through every Premier League club and rebuilding their team for the 23-24 season. Today's victims are Luton Town. We're going to maul their squad and completely overhaul it. Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, Luton Town obviously coming from the Championship, a very unlikely promoted side coming up through the playoffs. However, they are here to compete and I'm sure they won't go down without a fight. A lot of work to be done though. Their squad is definitely not Premier League ready. We've been saying this for a while and we actually did a video looking at Luton Town when they first got promoted about a month ago. So go check that out if you want to. But today's going to be slightly different. We're going to look at their contracts expiring first. We're going to run through their current squad, look at who should stay, look at who maybe should be moved on, and then look at some more options. Last time we bounded around some options. Now we've got a bit more of an idea of who Luton Town are actually looking at so we can include some of them as well. So yeah, lots to talk about today. We'll start with the contract. So actually, we'll start with last season because I haven't really spoken about it.
The first thing I want to start with is, I don't know if this is just me, so people watching, people listening, let us know. But for me, it feels really weird to have a team in alphabetical order between Liverpool and the Manchester
Oh
clubs.
yeah, no, 100%.
It has been, I cannot
so
think
strange.
for a team that, I can't think the last time it was. Because even teams like Middlesbrough were below them, because I cannot think of a team.
They would have been above the Manchester clubs.
No, because MI, isn't it? Or MA.
Yeah, and if you know the alphabet, it goes MA, then MI.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
There's no one between Liverpool
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. Not even Middlesbrough, because that would be the most recent M we had. I can't. It's really weird. But hello, Luton. Because Leicester were also above Liverpool when they were in the league, because the alphabet. But yeah, on to obviously Luton's last season.
Your use of above and below is throwing me, but yeah. Anyway, last season they were very impressive.
They were
to deal with a manager change in the way they did, moving on from Nathan Jones, who had been at the club a while in two separate stints. That's a big change to try and go and find a manager who can continue that. But they found the right man, didn't they?
I was like, very similar to what Brighton did in the Premier League. They found
it's almost an upgrade, isn't it? Which is stunning.
They found a manager that you could argue is better, and I think is more long term.
Yeah, thank you Watford for being so incompetent.
I think brilliant appointment, Rob Edwards. He was in League 2 2 years ago.
Yeah.
With Forest Green, and now he's been managing Luton Town in the Premier League. So many congratulations to him. He's been fantastic for Luton and for Forest Green.
Thoroughly deserved. I think he's really proved he is a very good manager.
And I think Luton were brilliant, especially at home. That Kenilworth Road atmosphere is brilliant because the fans are basically sat on the pitch.
Yeah.
It is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be slightly different next season. They are having to do a lot of work to Kenilworth Road, so I think it will lose some of its touch, but they're still gonna feel very. There's only a certain amount you can do. Yeah. You know, there's only these people will only have a certain amount of garden space left that you can take, so they can't push it back too far. They do have to make a little bit more room for stuff like cameras, because if you watched any Luton Town games on TV last season,
there was about one camera and a guy to clean it with a cloth every time it rained.
That was one of the games. That was, I think, Luton Wigan.
That was
we were watching.
Every 5 minutes, it just wiped the lens with a cloth.
No, that's brilliant. But yeah, I think there's a lot of what has to be done there so that Premier League footage can be recorded. But overall, I do think Kenilworth Road will have a big impact. It did last season. If you look back at a lot of the games, it is very difficult to go away to Luton Town.
Yeah, it is. But you also, and then you compare it to Premier League. Look at Nottingham Forest. For me, they stayed up this year single-handedly on their home form. There's no doubt about it.
And the only reason Leeds have avoided relegation in recent years is because of that home form. It pays to have a crowd that will get behind you. I think though that can go both ways, because as we've seen with Leeds, when the going gets tough, they get complaining, and it's not always the most conducive atmosphere.
But Forest, even look at West Ham.
Well,
the passion in their fans. And then on the flip side, you look at Southampton.
They're either chanting or trying to wig their own owners.
But I've never seen a brilliant atmosphere at St Mary's.
No, but the Bournemouth stayed up. And then the atmosphere they had was the Arsenal fans chanting Saliba.
That's brilliant.
That's it. But yeah,
I think they'll have to, if Luton want to stay in the Premier League,
they've got to do what Bournemouth did last year.
I'll say on the pitch, they'll have to. We'll get onto that now. But they'll have to improve. But obviously off the pitch, they will rely on their fans very heavily, and especially at home form.
Luton need to look at Bournemouth not this time they've come up, but when they went up the first time. And look how they created a sustainable model. They didn't go and splash the cash instantly, but they brought in reliable players. And I do think, from looking at Luton's recruitment, that seems to be what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're preparing for what's going to be a really difficult battle next season, building the club in a way which sustains them for the future. This isn't their one shot. If they go down, they want to build a side that can come back up and that can then
it's that healthy balance
be in the Premier League.
Build a side that has the potential to stay in the Premier League, but if you go down, that side will be definitely good enough to come up back as champions.
But that's the thing, it doesn't even need to look on paper good enough, because Bournemouth didn't. Let's look at the start of the season, they definitely didn't. I know they brought in players like Dango Ouattara in January who massively helped, but they didn't look like a side that should be staying in the Premier League even at the end of the season, especially compared to the likes of Leicester, who were European challengers not too long ago, Leeds, who have some really quality players, and even Everton they're ahead of.
Like Everton, before Sean Dyche came in, Everton
good, decent side.
Rubbish.
Yeah, so it really does rely on them getting the recruitment right, getting the tactics right. If Rob Edwards can pick up some early points, I think that's what they need, just a bit of momentum, bit of hope.
Who's their first game?
Brighton away.
That's not going to be easy.
I don't know. I don't hate it as a Luton fan. Because I think Brighton is a drawable game. We saw Brighton throw away some easy points last season. They always turn up against the big sides, but sometimes they do have a bit of complacency.
First game of the season, who knows what can happen. But as I said, it'll be those big, it'll be those away, it'll be the relegation dogfights at home that you have to win.
Yeah, that's games at the Kenny. Every game at the Kenny.
Sheffield United, Burnley, Everton, Bournemouth, Forest, teams like that you have to be picking up points against. If not, you will not survive.
Yeah, and I also think, though, that Luton Town can get results against some of the more technical sides, which is why I fancy us against Brighton, because we do just have that physical edge. Luton have that physical edge where they can just knock someone off the ball, get in front of someone, be a bit more aggressive, put yourself about a bit. Whereas a lot of the Brighton squad, fantastic footballers, but Julio Enciso's not the most built, is he?
I think you could say the same for Everton. For me, they single-handedly stayed up last year because they picked up points against their relegation rivals, and they picked up points against the big teams.
They weren't Brighton 5-1.
Yeah, they weren't better.
Insanity.
On that, but look at Sean Dyche's first game against Arsenal. They're not technically better than Arsenal. They're just bigger. Connor Cody and Michael Keane are massive.
Tarkowski
scored
from a corner. That was it.
And we know Luton's corner success rate
Well, this is the
brilliant.
thing. If they can replicate that in the Premier League, obviously you imagine Tom Lockyer will stay on. He's signed a new deal. Gabriel Osho will touch on in a minute when we look at contracts expiring. Reece Burke as well scored a fair few corners. Again, we'll look at him in a moment with contracts. But there's a lot of players there that if you can just nail set pieces again this season, you can rack up a lot of goals from that. And then that can keep you in the league. Because if you're getting 3 points because you've scored a header, that's massive 3 points.
Huge.
A massive 3 points. But yeah, it's going to be a very difficult season for Luton Town. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be covering them at some point this season on TFC Live because their fixture list is going to be interesting to see. Probably Man City. That'll probably be a fun game. Yeah. But no, love the Luton. Hopefully they can do well. Shall we look at their squad then?
Yeah.
Start, as we do always, with contracts expiring. So 2023, 3 players have left the club. Sonny Bradley, Henry Lansbury and Carlos Mendes going. I think I've also forgot to mention Harry Eistedt there on the list. But those 4 have all left. No massive misses. Sonny Bradley was a decent servant for the club. Ultimately, though, he's not a Premier League player and he's seeking pastures new now. I believe he's going to Peterborough, I want to say.
Fair enough. Not bad.
Someone like that.
I think, you might miss a bit of dressing room presence with Bradley and Lansbury leaving, but in terms of quality on the pitch...
And lawnmower celebrations. Who's going to do that now?
That was quality.
That was a good celebration. His 1 goal ever.
Lansbury does bring Premier League experience, but that was experience in the Premier League about 5 years ago. So, not 5 years ago, about 4 years ago, I think.
What, Henry Lansbury? Played the first season for Aston Villa and back in the Prem. So I think that could have been valuable, but ultimately he's not going to be good enough.
No.
So for the sake of keeping him on, probably not worth it. He is, I believe, the highest earner, or up there as one of the highest earners. So I think Marvin Campbell was top for last season, but obviously that was a loan deal. But he is up there, so for me, it doesn't really make sense to keep him on, especially when you are having to completely restructure the wage bill. His demands probably would have been higher than what Luton are willing to pay. Probably. He has that Premier League experience. I don't think losing him is a massive problem. He didn't play much last season. He wasn't that key.
And that's the other 2 in terms of Carlos Mendes Gomez and Eistedt. You're not going to miss him.
Eistedt's been a third choice goalkeeper for a couple of years. Carlos Mendes Gomez has been out on loan this season. I think there's a definite talent there. It just hasn't been honed at Luton Town.
Not a Premier League talent.
No, but I definitely think if a good manager with the commitment to making him a good player gets his hands on him, then there's every chance he'll work. So maybe he'd move to Ligue 1 could really benefit him. Ligue 2, maybe. I don't really know much about the French second division, but there's going to be teams in there that'll be looking for a winger. And yeah, I think he's a good talent. Yeah. As I say, probably not Premier League quality or anywhere near Premier League quality. On to 2024 then. Now, just to clear up quickly, we'll look at some contract extensions as well, because Amari Bell was supposed to be, expiring in 2024, but he has extended his contract, as has Carlton Morris. So 2 big extensions there from Luton Town, but there's still some big players they need to get onto longer contracts, the first of which, and the most important of which, is Elijah Adebayo. 2024 is his contract expiration date. For me, it's key you either move him on this summer or you offer him a new contract.
I'd do it to Morris, offer him a new contract. 2 strikers that I look at and I go, they've torn up the Championship this year. Now they've got to make sure they can make that step up to Premier League football.
But I think it's so crucial you keep that duo together.
Yeah.
Because they have that experience playing together, and that could just prove very useful.
This might be controversial, but I think Adebayo has more chance of cutting it in the Premier League than Morris does.
Yeah.
I just think Adebayo's younger, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's got more time.
He does.
It'd be interesting to see. You'd expect one of them to be in double digits this season.
My only caveat is Luton could change formation. I think we should stick with the 3-5-2. It's been very, very fruitful. But a lot of the recruitment, a lot of the scouting at the moment is on wide players. And I don't really understand that because we don't play with wingers. Yeah. Yet we're only linked with wingers. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we change system, whether maybe it becomes a 3-4-3. I don't know. I hope we stick with the 3-5-2 though. I don't think any other team plays like Luton Town do.
I think it gives you options as well in terms of who your opposition is. If you're going out against one of the big sides at the Kenny, you can put those 3 and that 5 and put them all behind the ball and sit on the goal line.
As good as Carlton Morris has been this season, I wouldn't trust him as a lone striker. I'd want him up there with Adebayo.
I think Adebayo is probably close to the Premier League quality.
Yeah, and I think obviously because he is younger, he has got that resale value. Even if you extend his contract, and then if he does leave next summer, at least you get a better fee for him. Obviously, if you don't extend that contract, I've got to sell him now on the cheap or let him go on a free next summer. So boxed in a little bit now, Luton. They need to renegotiate that contract. I don't know what his demands would be. I'm hoping he wouldn't go too high, but definitely need to get that signed. I'm sure that Luton Town are working on that. He's a great player.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing for Reece Berg. I know when we did this the first time when we sort of looked at their squad, we discussed maybe letting him leave, but I think just keeping as much of this squad together will be useful, especially when he's not bad.
Because first of all, you look at what Forest did. They completely overhauled their squad.
It worked.
They
were in the Premier League.
Yeah, it didn't work to start with.
No, it will take time if you massively overhaul your squad, but it did work.
Yeah, but I don't think obviously Luton don't have the power of Nottingham Forest. They don't have the kind of money to splash
£200
around.
million.
Exactly.
And of the parachute payments they get, a lot of that has to be dedicated towards not only rebuilding the Kenny, but also working on Power Court, right? That's the name of the new site. So.
But I think if you actually look at how well Reece Berg done last year, I think it makes sense to give him a new deal.
Yeah. Dan Potts, I would say it's probably his time to move on. I'd keep him this season, let him leave on free next year. Ultimately, he's not really Prem quality, but he can cover both left centre-half and left back.
He's got a year left on his contract.
Yeah, good player. I wouldn't be too fussed if he doesn't move on. If you can get some fee for him, then do. Ultimately, though, he's not going to be a week in, week out starter, but his experience and his leadership could just be crucial. So I'd keep him around another year, especially since we're losing a massive figure in Sonny Bradley. I wouldn't be too, desperate to get Dan Potts leaving, to move him on.
Yeah.
English all over the place. Gabriel O'Shea.
Keep. Yeah, I think we're not doing a keep, so just give it a deal.
Definitely give it a deal.
Similar to really, if you actually look at last year and you look at how well he played, defensively Luton was sound.
Yeah.
And that really helped them.
And, that's a testament to the work of Gabriel O'Shea, to the work of Tom Lockyer. The two of them worked really well in a 3 of Amari Bell as well, who have already mentioned new contracts signed. If they keep that back 3, Luton, it's going to be difficult. They probably want a bit more quality in that back line.
Maybe.
But for the style of football they want to play, it's not too pivotal. They bring in anyone. They are all massive, just
big,
clearers,
big
clearers at the ball.
And for me,
Amari Bell's
most of the goals they conceded last year were usually down to goalkeeper error.
Yeah.
Because there's about 15 goalkeepers that kept rotating and they're all got injured.
Season 4 this season, Ethan Horvath just definitely had an error in him.
Yeah.
And we might as well touch on him now because I don't think we will later. Obviously, goalkeeper is a big thing.
He's loan
we have got an option to buy.
I
wouldn't look at it.
After watching him last year, he did all right at times, but he made too many errors. Yeah. And you can't afford to make those errors in the Premier League because you will get relegated.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he is the right man for Luton, especially since maybe he could do a job for Nottingham Forest in the future. They've only got Keylon Navas, I believe. Was he signed permanently?
No, he was a loan.
No, they don't even have him.
Who have they got?
Just Ethan Horvath, because Dean Ensign was also
on loan. Some fun next year.
Yeah. Right, after our show, we've got Luke Berry, who has signed a contract extension, I believe. Well, this may have been the extension from 23 to 24.
Yeah.
But no extension.
I'd just see what happens. See who can bring in. You can bring in better players than...
Good player, though.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's been really good for Luton over the years. He can come off the bench and do a really good job. Goal scoring midfielder. Yeah. And if he comes into that 3, he does just give a little bit more attacking intent than the likes of Nakamba and Panzu, who played midfield, Jordan Clark, players like that. Yeah. Clark, obviously, as we saw in the final, huge attacking intent. So he plays that sort of role, driving forwards, linking up with the front 2. So I think Luke Berry can be big. He's definitely not a starter, but as an impact player, we saw it last season. He can be very, very big.
Yeah,
very big. That was 4. Apologies, everyone.
I did. Move on.
Matt Macy up next.
Oh, don't bother signing him a new contract.
He's a fine third choice.
Yeah.
You'd imagine it'll be Matt Macy and James O'Shea, and then you bring in a starting goalkeeper. So for me, it's not too big a deal to move Matt Macy on. If there's suitors. You sell him on this summer. Don't think there's going to be too many people key, though. He did do all right on loan at Plymouth last season, I think he was. Was it Plymouth? No?
I don't think so.
Don't know where he was then. I think he was definitely somewhere. I'll have a look. He was at Portsmouth. 21 appearances from January to June. If they want to sign him on a permanent, I mean, he kept 9 clean sheets in 21 games.
That's not horrific.
That's not bad at all.
No.
So I would... Yeah. I mean, if they want to sign him, I wouldn't be too bothered about letting him go. You can probably get, I don't know, 300 grand. Mm-hmm. That's a car park. That is a car park at the new stadium. So
Bollard.
You can call it the Matt Macy car park. Yeah. But yeah, I'd probably move him on if you can. Keep him around as a third choice if not. Keep him around as a third choice if not. He's not a massive problem. I think there is already so many goalkeepers, but we'll get onto those in a moment. So yeah, and then Elliot Thorpe, who is a good young talent. I think he's not going to be a world beater. But give him a loan next season, see how well he gets on. I think he was out on loan the campaign just gone as well. So he's a young defender, plays right back. He made a couple of appearances for Burton on loan for the first half of the season. Then he came back from loan, made 2 appearances in the Championship. I mean, yeah, he needs a loan move. If you can get him another League One loan move, because it clearly didn't work out for whatever reason at Burton. Maybe who's just gone down from the Championship? Wigan? They go down?
Maybe.
Can't remember who's gone down now.
On Mick McCarthy keep Blackpool up.
I was going to say, maybe Wigan stayed up.
Who actually went up? Because Rotherham stayed up as well.
Oh, Wigan were fine. Or they weren't in the league. They weren't in the league.
Down?
No, that's the new season. They were relegated.
I was going to say.
Wigan went down. Blackpool, Reading.
Yeah, thought Blackpool went down.
Reading very harsh. If they'd not been deducted 6 points, Cardiff would be in League One.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe look at one of those clubs for a loan move. I don't know whether they've got right backs. I don't know much about Wigan Athletics squad, but I mean Stephen Corker's there, so they'll take all the help they can get. Yeah, Elliot Thorpe, another League One loan move would make a lot of sense to me. Yeah. I don't think rushing him into the Championship makes much sense. He is 22, so would have reservations. He's not as young as some of the other talents at Luton Town, but he is a decent young player. Hopefully, you can get him a move that is good for his career, because Burton clearly didn't really work.
Yeah.
Should we do our squad keep or sell then?
Yes.
Moving on to that then. Let's look through this squad. Now there's a few different goalkeepers to go through. Ethan Horvath is on this list. For me, probably not. No, don't bring him back.
No, do not bring him back.
But yeah, James Shea then tops this list.
Fine backup.
Yeah, I think how confident would you feel if you had to start him next season?
Not very.
Okay. But he can do a job as a backup.
He can do a job as a backup.
Yeah.
Stick him in the EFL Cup first round.
Yeah, hasn't played, so he only made 1 appearance for Luton last season, but he did keep a clean sheet in that game. Yeah. And made 1 save, so that's alright. But yeah, ultimately, he's not played much in recent seasons. He made a load of appearances the season before last. Yeah. Not many for that. even less, just more before that. So he's not really played since the League One days, but a loyal servant to the club, and I think he'll be an adequate backup or third choice if you can get in enough different goalkeepers. I know that Luton Town have been looking at a few different options, so we'll discuss all of those. But James Shea, capable backup if need be.
Yes.
We spoke about Matt Macey. He could leave. Even Horvath would say don't bring back. Jack Walton is a young goalkeeper. He's 25. He's not young, but he has been out on loan at Barnsley for like 4 years.
Okay.
So he's been doing that for a while, but
and maybe sell him.
he played
I'll
one.
sell him.
He made one appearance for Barnsley in League One. I just don't get why. I don't really know what's going on there, but yeah, from March 2018.
Maybe secretly a money launderer.
I know he joined Luton in January. All right, that makes a bit more sense.
Why did they sign him?
Guess they needed security as a
English
third choice.
quota.
But he's been at Barnsley for 5 years, back from loan. Football was a bit confusing, but yeah. So he played a load for Barnsley over the years, and then hasn't played for Luton Town yet. I mean, you probably get him as a third choice. If you sell Matt Macey, he'll do fine. And then Harry Isted has spent the year out on loan. He was on loan at Barnsley, so
Let him go.
when they brought Jack Walton, they sent Isted the other way on loan.
That is very weird.
He played 22 times for Barnsley on loan towards the end of that season, and he made 19 appearances, conceded 21 goals, kept 8 clean sheets, and
Sell him.
saved 1 pen.
Sell him.
But yeah, big performance in the final where they lost.
Yeah, they lost.
8.1 rating.
It was probably because they played 120 minutes.
He did play 120 minutes, but he clearly had a good game. He got man of the match.
Yeah.
Maybe Barnsley wanted to keep him then.
Because Barnsley went down 10 men, Sheffield Wednesday was
If you can
low.
get a bit of money to sell him to Barnsley, you take it, I think. On to defenders. We're talking about Tony Bradley, who will leave the club now. Dan Potts, let him leave in a season. Tom Lockyer.
Keep this man, give him everything.
Chain him to the ground.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's magnificent, isn't he?
Yeah.
Such a good defender, such a good leader. It was a shame to see him go off in the EFL Cup final. Hopefully there's nothing more serious. Not the EFL Cup final, the Championship playoff final.
Yeah,
hopefully there's no serious problems there, and hopefully
right.
he's fine to play in the Premier League next season. But
yeah, very, very good.
Sensational defender, great from corners, really good in the air, can play the ball at his feet as well. So I think for what Luton want to do going forwards, he is perfect. And for me, he takes that armband.
Yeah,
I think he has been captain this season, hasn't he? But he's done well. He's done well this season. He's been really good for Luton, and I hope he does well in the Premier League.
Should do.
And if not, he should sail well next season, even if we do go down. Hopefully not, though. Amari Bell has just renewed his contract. He's excellent. The way he transitioned from being a left back to play that left centre half role. Rob Edwards done some great work with him. He made 44 appearances in the Championship. That is only 2 off the maximum.
And he's playing with Jamaica in the Gold Cup right now, isn't he?
He is, yes. So he didn't get any minutes in their final group game, or their second group game. How many group games they played? Second group game against Trinidad and Tobago. He made 65. He got 65 minutes against the US in a game which Jamaica drew 1-1, and actually were very unlucky because they were winning until the 88th minute when the US levelled through Vasquez, who is someone I've never heard of. Not a great sign for the US. As a substitute, I'm guessing.
Amari Bell, very, very good.
Plays for FC Cincinnati. But currently in the Gold Cup. But good player. We'll definitely keep him around. Does that left centre half role really well. You probably want to go bring in another player to challenge him on that left side of defence, but Amari Bell can definitely start, I think. But good player. Fred Onyedinma. He's been a bit more bit part this season, but I think his versatility is useful. He can come in the midfield and do a job. He can play either wing back and do a job. I don't see any problem with keeping him around.
Maybe not backup, he's a fine third choice for all those positions.
He's a nice rotation option. Has a great ability to hit a long shot as well.
Roy Edwards calls me over and goes, right, I'm playing you here today.
Yeah.
And the next game, right, I'm playing you over here today.
I need you to go on and hit a worldie.
And he'll just go, yeah, sure.
And he'll go and hit a worldie.
Right wing back, left wing back, on the wings. You probably stick him up front and go, yeah, sure, I'll go do that. See what I can do. Yeah,
really good player on his day. Great Championship quality. Doesn't really... I mean, he only made 6 starts, 17 appearances for Luton last season, so quite a bit part player in the Championship. Whether he will handle that Premier League step up, I don't know, but I think it is crucial to keep the squad together. Yeah. If you could get a bit of money for him, you probably do. But I don't think there's going to be many suitors, so keep him around. Just for that sort of squad harmony, keep everyone around. Reece Burke, we've spoken about.
Must keep.
Renew his contract, extend his contract. Gabriel Osho, a similar line of thinking.
Yeah.
Alfred Doughty.
I think
He's been really good.
Yeah. He's been really good.
I had a couple of reservations about him joining at the start of the season. Of course, he is only 23 years old. Tends to play as a left winger, but he has been reinvented to play as a left winger.
Very young, very good. Should do well next year in the Premier League.
28 appearances this season in the Championship, 2 goals, 4 assists. He's been really good going forwards, but also quite good defensively. He's been part of this amazing Luton Town defence who have been, sublime. And I think he contributes a bit going forward as well, which could be useful when there's not many players who do that currently.
He's solid, and that's what you need in the Premier League. You just need a solid man.
Yeah, that's all it requires.
Yeah, you just need a
The
solid...
search filters on when you go scouting, solid man.
Just a solid player that will just do the job and keep you in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's reliable. He just didn't make many errors. I don't think he got any errors leading to goal, did he? No. So, really good.
Yeah.
Really good player. But yeah, and then it's all youngsters. Joshua Williams, Elliot Thorpe, Joseph Johnson. I don't know enough about them really to comment, so give them low moves if they need them. To be fair, they're all 23, 22, so...
Get on a bit.
Yeah. Footwear, they're not... You can't really consider them youngsters if they're
No.
equally, and this guy's born in the year 1, so he's definitely not.
Wow.
No, football
Jesus?
doesn't seem to have any information about how old he is, but he has made 2 appearances in the Championship.
Is Joseph Johnson Jesus?
And he's born on the 3rd of January, 1.
Wow.
So, born a year after Jesus.
Wow.
Probably didn't meet
it's
him.
Joseph.
It's Joseph. Probably not the dad of Jesus, though. On to midfielders, anyway. Henry Lansbury, as we say, leaving the club this summer. He's done well when called upon, but he's not a Premier League quality player, I wouldn't say anymore. Yeah. Luke Freeman has had a fine campaign.
He has.
26 appearances, 10 starts.
I don't know if he's Premier League quality.
Probably not, but he's played in the Premier
League
before.
Fair, he has, I forgot.
Sheffield United, of course.
I think maybe you should keep him to experience and he'll be a fine 3rd, 4th, 5th choice centre midfielder.
Same sort of job as Luke Berry, coming on those games in that sort of attacking midfield area, can play a little deeper if you need him to, in and just sit back. But yeah, I think he can come on, he can score goals, he can create chances, he's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
Up next, we have Luke Berry.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah. A similar boat to Freeman.
Good impact players, the pair of them. Jordan Clark.
He was quality this season. Absolutely quality. That playoff final, he was magical.
It's his energy for me. It's how he gets from one box to the other so quickly. He didn't. No, exactly.
He didn't stop running.
He cares so much. He has his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
Really difficult for me to say, apparently, that phrase, but he does always give it 100%, and he's got a worldie in him. We've seen that he can score some decent goals. He's also quite a creative player. Took 38 appearances in the Championship last term, 2 goals, 4 assists. He'll be good, I think.
But you look 2 goals, 4 assists. You look at that and go, but every single one of those was in a key moment.
Yeah.
He scored 2 goals. One was in the playoff final, and the other one was probably at some point in the season.
I mean, a testament to his attitude. 3 yellow cards in the 3 most important games. Both the Championship semi-finals he was booked, and the Championship playoff final.
He gives 120% every single game.
Of course, he scored for Luton Town in that playoff final, so huge in that game.
The fact he also played 38 games while giving that 128%.
He's also, I think, one of those players where you completely understand what Luton are about, because he came in on a free.
Yeah, how many appearances
3 years ago? He's played 111 times for Luton. So, since August 2020, came in on a free, shows exactly Luton's type of recruitment. They bring in players, they get bargains. He's someone on paper who shouldn't be stunning, but he's done a job in midfield this season.
That's what you need. Because if you just need a workhorse in the Premier League, if you outwork your opposition, you will get a good result.
Look at the Sheffield United side that stayed up in 2020. That side was not good. Like, let's be honest.
But players like John Lundstrom just
was it 2020 they stayed up?
I can't remember.
Might have been
relegated,
relegated,
look at that team. You look at that back three of Basham.
But yeah, that's
the defence with Basham and Baldock and Lundstrom.
They got 8th in the Premier League, didn't they?
Yeah.
In 2019-20. But yeah, they finished at 9th. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do.
Got to work hard.
It's very interesting also that Sheffield United, when finished 9th in the Premier League, 1 place ahead of Burnley, and now they're both going out together. Who just saw that happen? Yeah, very romantic. Sheffield United and Burnley are courting each other. Yeah. Sheffield United, a good example of what Luton need to do. And actually, Sheffield United, a great example of what Sheffield United need to do. And that one will be coming soon. sooner than that, I think.
6.
It might be Monday's episode.
Oh.
So look out for that.
7. It's not 7. It's 8. 8 is 8.
What? No, it's not.
That's 6. I can't do maths.
Luton's,
Anyway, let's move on. Who's next?
Next up is... I've closed it now to look at Sheffield United. Where are Luton Town? After Jordan Clark, any guesses? I'm guessing it's Mpanzu. It is.
Oh, yeah.
What a guess. Pelly Ruddock Mpanzu.
Oh, I love this man. What a story.
Yeah.
What a story. But you can't sell him. You have to keep him.
Exactly. You've got to play
If you sell him
at least
now and
one.
don't let him play in the Premier League, you are the worst person on earth.
You've killed the story. It's pointless. All of this was for nothing. But you definitely got to keep him around. He is a great ball-winning midfielder. Always gives it 100%. That's what I could say about every Luton player.
midfielders,
They care
everyone
so
runs.
much. Yeah.
They do not give up.
They really
do not give in.
I love that. I love that from... And Pelly Ruddock Mpanzu has been a fantastic servant. He's always remained loyal. I think, for me, it's pivotal you keep him around for next season.
Give him a statue.
Give him... 100%. 100% give him a statue. Give him... I don't know.
Not outside Kenny, though, because you're moving soon. Get him one outside Power Court.
Or, if they keep the Kenny...
Or just move the statue, because you can do that.
Or don't call it Power Court. Call it Mpanzu Court. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
No.
But yeah, he's a good player. I think, for me... He deserves this because he's been fantastic since the National League. So, yeah, shout out him. And, of course, he is from Dr. Congo as well, so that is brilliant.
Dr. Congo.
But, yeah, a great player. Really great player.
Yes.
So, looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League. And he's only 29, so definitely a few years left there. Glenn Ray, Irish player. He's been on loan at Cheltenham this season, where he made 14 appearances in the back half of the campaign.
I wouldn't keep him.
I would not either. He wasn't good for
Cheltenham.
He wasn't good for Cheltenham.
No.
Does have a fantastic head of hair. Don't think that can justify keeping him around. So sell him on. Look at whatever money you can get. I don't know when his contract expires, but it's not on this list. I think it may be 2025. So you've still got a decent while left, so you can probably get a decent fee.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a fantastic player. Alan Campbell.
We could say the same for him, Clark and Mpanzu. Absolutely brilliant season. Did not stop running.
The problem for Campbell is he didn't play the big games. Because of Nakamba came in and he's a fantastic player, and that has caused a little bit of disgruntlement there. I don't think Alan Campbell's been too pleased about getting less minutes, because obviously he didn't feature in the playoff final, he didn't feature in the first semi-final, he got 7 minutes in the second semi-final. So he's not played a massive role for Luton Town in those big games. Of course, he has been crucial throughout the season. There's barely a game he's missed. He's made 42 appearances this term, but a lot of... I don't know. I don't think he'll be best pleased. Best pleased with his minutes. Hopefully, though, he's not too disgruntled. Hopefully he stays around. I think he's a decent...
starts is still
a really good player. I don't think losing him... I think losing him would be big, because as much as he may not start every week, if we do bring in Nakamba... We do bring in Mpanzu, keep Mpanzu, keep Clark. We've got 4 midfielders there who are really good. We're already looking at bringing a couple others in. I guess you could sell him, but I really wouldn't want to. I like the bloke. I think he always works hard when he puts the shirt on. He's always been a good player for Luton. Fantastic servant since joining just 2 years ago now, but 86 appearances in that time. So I think for me it's crucial you keep players like him, but I don't know, if he really wants to leave, you could cash in. There's probably almost 10 mil you could make there if there's a club interested enough.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but I think he is worth it. But good player, very good player, so hopefully we keep him about. But yeah, other midfielders then, you've got Louis Watson, who is quite talented. He spent the year at Luton Town, but only made 9 appearances. I'd look at a loan move, personally. He joined from Derby last summer, but didn't really get any minutes this year. For me, you look at a loan to the Championship.
Yeah.
Maybe to one of the promoted sides that are coming up into the Championship. You look at maybe an Ipswich Town, a Sheffield Wednesday. They could definitely use a player like him. But yeah, so I think he's quality. Probably not playing for Luton Town yet.
No.
Casey Pettit, along the similar sort of lines. He's through the Luton Academy. Give him a loan move. Zach Nelson is an incredible talent. I think he needs a loan move to League One, probably. I think he's a really good talent though. So for me, get him that loan move, get him those minutes he deserves, see what he can do where he can actually have some regular game time. Then you have Jaden Luca and Axel Paysold, who are, I think, a similar sort of thing. I've never really heard of those guys. So yeah, those two at the end there, but hopefully they get a loan move, get some regular experience. They're both 18, so probably not going to have much of a role in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Cauley Woodrow then, the first of the forwards to look at. He has a knee injury but will return early July 23. But I don't think we should play down how much an impact he's had this season.
No.
Because he has done well. 27 appearances, only 5 starts. But he is such a good impact. 2 goals, 1 assist. Can put an effort in. Has played in the Premier League before, I think. 1 season, 2013-14.
Long time ago.
That was a long time ago, and he did only make 6 appearances.
Does he block, what's his name? The young striker who came on the player final. Can't really think of his
Joe
name.
Taylor?
Joe Taylor. Because you do have 2 starting strikers. I guess if you start 2, then you need 4, don't you? And you bring in another one.
Yeah.
You're looking at 5.
For me, Woodrow's behind Taylor, though, even in the pecking order. We saw that in the final.
Yeah, true.
They brought on Taylor rather than bringing on Woodrow. Equally, Woodrow was injured.
Taylor was so not score.
I mean, yeah, they did score.
Yeah,
it's a shame it was ruled out. But yeah, Woodrow can come on and make a difference.
He's a fine.
He's not going to be starting, though, is he?
No.
Carlton Morris.
Just
a new contract.
New contract.
And he's amazing, obviously. Did really well last season. How many goals did he get in the end? He racked up 20 goals in 44 appearances, 7 assists as well. So 27 contributions is nothing to be sniffed at. 11 yellow cards. He always puts himself about a bit, and he's made 51 appearances since joining last summer in all comps.
Wow.
So that is very impressive. He's put a shift in this year. Played all 120 minutes in the playoff final. He's been ridiculously good.
He's been crazy.
Definitely a keep there. Then we have... a new signing, but we'll get onto him in just a moment when we look at improvements and stuff. But we could touch on him now. He's in the squad. Chiedozie Ogbene. What do you think of this as an addition?
I like it. I do like it. I just don't know where he fits in.
So he can cover up front. He is a right winger, but he can play up front. He can also play up the left. He can also play attacking midfield. He's quite versatile in that. He could play right wing back, which is maybe what Rob Edwards is thinking there. Of deploying him in that role.
It's a big step up.
It is. It is a big step up. He only made... So he played 39 appearances last season, 8 goals, 4 assists. Very impressive. I think for free, it's a relatively low risk, good signing. It's exactly what Luton are about. Bringing someone in on a free who maybe isn't rated that highly, but will put a shift in.
I think it's a bit weird.
Do you?
Yeah, I just think you're going to the Premier League and you're signing a Rotherham.
That's how Luton have always done it.
I know.
When Luton got promoted to the Championship, they did the league.
We're talking Rotherham.
They went and got League One players.
Yeah.
And in the Prem, they're getting Championship players.
I suppose it works. And
also, Rotherham probably would have been relegated with that one last season.
Rotherham were rubbish. Honestly,
they weren't bad last season though.
They're
just 19.
I know, but usually a yo-yo club.
They are usually a yo-yo club, but now maybe they're improving.
God, the world's going to end.
Rotherham to the Prem. Here we go.
I'd start watching the Premier League. I'd start watching the Premier League.
It's such bollocks, isn't it? It'd be so funny to see Rotherham in there.
It wouldn't.
It would. If
I want to see Rotherham.
They'd break Derby's points record.
No.
But yeah, I think
they got a point.
I'm optimistic for the signing of Ogbene. I think it also gives a bit of flexibility with the system because we don't have wingers in the squad, so we're sort of limited to the 3-5-2. But he can play out wide. We are targeting other wingers as well. I think it's a good addition.
Right.
I'm confident he'll do well.
All right.
Admiral Musquet.
Sell.
Yes.
Sell. He is crap.
He went on loan to Fleetwood for half a season.
And scored 2 goals.
No. He scored 3 goals.
Oh!
12 appearances in League One, 3 goals. They did not renew his loan for a second half the season.
Awful footballer.
He's not an awful footballer.
He is.
He's just not done much.
He's not Championship quality. He's definitely not Premier League quality. He cuts it in League One.
I'd probably try and move him on permanently.
Yeah, I'd League 2 sides, I'm looking at him.
League 1.
So, Leighton Orient.
No. Wrexham.
Nah, yes.
Look at your opinion change.
Yes. He'd tear it up.
Yes. Yeah, he would.
He'd get like 25 goals.
Yeah. Dion Pereira. Young player. Can play off the wing. Not going to start for them. John McAtee. Was out on loan at Grimsby last season. 30 appearances, 4 goals.
Sell.
In League 2.
Sell. Big sell.
Yeah.
Huge sell.
Elijah Adebayo.
Get this man
the stadium.
Adebayo Court.
Doesn't work either.
They're going to call it the
Adebayo Arena.
Yeah.
Hey. Sounds like Alcoholics Anonymous. Probably don't call it that.
Yeah, let's not do that. But
Carlos Mendes, sorry, Adebayo, sensational. Keep him
Mendes
around.
going.
He's leaving at the end of
Joe Taylor,
now.
massive.
Yeah, he's a good young player. 20 years old, can do a shift. Only made 5 appearances since joining in January, but good player.
And he looked brilliant off the bench in that playoff final. As you said, scored, very unlucky it was ruled off by VAR. But he looks lively.
Ruining football, mate. Ruining Joe Taylor.
Stop it, you're ruining football.
Whoever's doing this, you're ruining it. But yeah, he joined from Peterborough.
Good player, very good player.
Do you not hate it? Maybe use him to convince Ronnie Edwards, because he's a good player.
I don't think so.
What?
He's a good player.
You don't know Ronnie Edwards is mint, mate?
Yeah, no, I do know he is. He's mint.
Do you know, he was great for the United.
Yes, I do.
Anyway, we'll touch on him in a moment.
Quality.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that is everything in the squad. Arab and Pebble sell. He was on loan at Grimsby as well, where he played 15 appearances, didn't score. There we go.
I'd rather have actual Pebble up front.
No, I wouldn't. At least Arab can run about. Pebbles can't run.
They can. The wind gets him going. He's on the run.
When have you seen the wind blow a pebble?
Are you stupid? Okay.
What?
Wind moves pebbles.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Pebbles are...
We're not talking massive stones. We're talking pebbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, pebbles are quite small.
Put a pebble in a wind machine and see if it moves.
Yeah, alright.
Anyway, you don't just see beaches float, like stony beaches.
Yes,
they don't just fly away. You don't approach them, they fly
They all
towards
shift across, don't they, with the waves as well.
I don't know, mate. You're the geographer.
Yeah.
Anyway, improvements. Goalkeeper is the big one, isn't it?
Huge. You're not going to score a lot of goals, you don't have one.
Yes. And then also defensive options. I think we need some centre-halves there. Wing-backs as well. There currently isn't a right wing-back employed at the club, and they could do with a backup to Alfred Doughty. Midfield options, just for a couple more rotation there, and then some wide men as well. Yes. Let's start with the goalkeeper then. James Trafford is my suggestion.
Yes.
I've been very impressed with him at the U21 Euros. Anyone that's been following our live streams would probably also be impressed with him.
Not just for Bolton this year. Yeah, absolutely magical.
When we spoke about him actually when we first did a Luton sort of rebuild for next season after first been promoted. And I said, I'm not too sure about Trafford. I don't think he's ready for that step up.
He is.
Watching him at the U21 Euros, actually seeing him more.
He's got it all though.
He's so confident coming out of his goal. He's a great shot stopper. For me, he can do it in the Prem.
Brilliant in one-on-ones. He's consistent over the whole season, and he can pull off those world-class saves that you need. Like sometimes you have to pull off that one save you might see like every couple of games, where it's an absolute worldie of a save.
Yeah, we were looking at someone else though to bring in as number one, Tom Heaton. No, he's a great goalkeeper and has his Premier League experience. But Eric Ten Hag has blocked that move because he doesn't want to let Heaton go.
Yeah, no.
Which does fuel rumours that De Gea will leave, so he wants to keep Heaton as a goalkeeper.
If Tom Heaton starts for United next year, that would be brilliant.
That would be funny. But yeah, I think Trafford for me it fits the role perfectly. I would be looking around that £10 million mark. I don't think City will be too bother about keeping. They've got Ortega, they've got Edison, of course.
And for Trafford, obviously the appeal of Luton is much bigger than going back to Bolton. And he can get away from Fogden. He can finally get away from Fogden.
He'll be buzzing about that. But yeah, definitely go and sign him, I think. Then some defensive options. The first of which is someone who is apparently very close to joining the club. Matt Anderson, the Barnsley captain, has done a shift this season. Looked very good in the playoff final. Not really his fault that the club was tragic in that game. But
and his teammate got sent off.
Exactly. But for me, Barnsley couldn't have done it without him. He's been a great leader. Good servant. Solid. Now he deserves that step up. And I think the problem is a big step up, but he should be able to handle it. So that will be good to see. Around £2 million, I think is a good fee. I think he can definitely do a job.
Gives you an option. Just gives you another option to rotate with, depending on injury, depending on who you're playing.
And he's tall.
I say, and from corners, he's an absolute weapon.
That is what Luton Town love, isn't it?
Yeah.
Corner merchants. And then my final suggestion as a centre-half is Paddy McNair.
I like that one.
Has played in the Premier League before, of course, with Sunderland. Only played a bit part role.
I think that is a big thing that teams don't utilise more, is going out and buying players from the teams that finished in the playoff places and didn't get up. Because clearly they were up there because they deserve to be. Yeah.
Paddy McNair, great player.
He had a brilliant season.
Can cover in midfield as well, which would be good. If we don't get Nakamba, but we should.
Because
McNair can
I feel like as much as Middlesbrough were praised for their attacking intent, they were really solid defensively.
Yeah. And I'll be looking around £5 million there. I think he could definitely do a job at centre half. Good playing out from the back, as we saw in the Carrick system. So if they want to move to something like that, that can work. Can play in a 3, can play in a 4. Well, in a 2 tend to be called, but yeah, he's fine. A good centre half will do a good job. Some wing backs then. Now the most obvious one is Cody Drame.
Getting on a permanent is massive.
Yes.
Again, obviously Leeds going down has massively helped with that.
He contributed a lot going forwards last season, but he also did well defensively. For me, Drame is just a really solid player, and I'd be definitely looking at keeping him around. I don't think there's really a downside there. But yeah, and then we also need a backup, and I've picked someone out who can cover both sort of midfield as well, but also right wing back. It's Lewis Travis at Blackburn. He's had a good season by all accounts. He is linked with Luton Town quite heavily, or just how many times he played for Blackburn, but apparently had a good season. Obviously, they almost got to the
again,
playoffs.
It's a team that were around the same area as Luton were.
Yeah, so 42 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists from right wing back. A good attacking player.
Absolutely solid.
Yeah, and again, I think he can also play midfield, of course, which could be really useful.
And matches that Luton philosophy of just being really consistent, really solid.
Yeah.
And just performing every week.
For around 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil, something like that. It would be a good deal. Luton are going to have to look at bargains because they don't have an infinite war chest.
No.
He would be a good
But those parachute payments do allow them to spend a bit of money.
Yeah, speaking of saving money then, I've gone next for a free transfer as a backup to Alfie Doughty. We spoke about him the first time we looked at Luton Town. It is Joe Bryan.
He's everything. He's consistent. He's got experience. He
can good going forwards, good defensively.
He'll run.
Yeah,
he's just so Luton. That's such
quite
a
useful
Luton
to have
player.
someone who can run.
Yeah, runs a lot.
I think he's a really good player.
Yeah.
But maybe not Prem quality, but as a backup he'll do fine.
Captain.
Probably not so vice, but
Okay.
he can be a figure.
Leader,
Yeah, good player. Midfield options then, well, we've already spoken a bit about Marvellous Nakamba, but for me that's a keep, isn't it? You find whatever money you can from the back of the sofa.
What a player.
I think it'd only take around 5 mil. I don't think Aston Villa can charge too highly. They're not. He's only got a year left on his deal.
So if Villa weren't so high in the league, I think it'd start for them. But I think he is by far Premier League quality. Very, very good defensive midfielder.
Had a great season last year. Knows the club. Knows the manager. Makes sense to keep him in. Don't bring him in. Then a couple more unknowns.
What first name, by the way?
It is a marvellous first name.
Marvellous.
But yeah, so a couple more unknowns, but also some great players. First of all, is a player that's been strongly linked with the club as a sort of fairy tale return. It's Kiernan Dewsbury Hall.
And again, this is similar to Drama.
He had a magical loan move in 2019, 2020, I want to say.
Strong loan move. His parent club just got relegated so that he'd be now playing in a league higher. They're going to want to sell him because they're going to need the money.
Yeah,
makes sense for everyone to sell him.
Great creative player. He can definitely put balls in behind for the very pacey forwards to play onto. But he can also score goals, which could be really crucial given that we need goals. Luton Town next season.
Premier quality.
He's definitely Premier quality. He could play for a higher standard, I would say. I'm surprised we're not seeing a West Ham and Aston Villa or someone like that push for him. But yeah, Luton Town, if they can get him for around that 10 mil, £15 million mark, I think you've got yourself an absolute steal there.
Definitely.
He is going to be expensive, but you've got to pay to get good players sometimes.
Yeah.
Up next then is a player that's been linked with a fair few different clubs. It is Gustavo Hamer. Plays for Coventry City, of course, has had a really good campaign. He will play that more attacking role in midfield 3. I think the way that Luton will tend to operate next season is to have a player that will push forwards a bit more to join up with the front 2. I think Hamer would be that, especially if you've then got Mpanzu and Nakamba able to sit, or Campbell and Nakamba, or any sort of mixture of that. Maybe a bit of, someone we're going to touch on in a moment, but Dewsbury Hall as well could go in there. But for me, you want Gustavo Hamer to link up the play between the front players, but also if you switch to a 4-2-3-1, he would fit perfectly in attacking midfield as well. So he has that versatility. He's a great player, links up the play nicely between midfield and the forwards. We saw that his relationship with Victor Gyökeres. I think he can have a similar thing with both the forwards at Luton Town. So
he was good. He was really
scores goals, gets assists, all round solid player. If you can bring in Gyökeres as well, you do. But I think you're going to face a lot more problems to try and do that. But yeah, good player. Around 10 mil, could be a steal. Mm-hmm. And yeah, looked good in the final against them as well. So they've seen that firsthand this season.
Yeah.
Then, a bit more of a rogue shout who has been linked with the club is Emiliano Martinez. Not the one you're thinking of. We're not getting the Aston Villa goalkeeper to play midfield. But there is another Emi Martinez who plies his trade out in, is it Norway or Denmark?
I don't know who he plays for. Do I?
FC Midtjylland. I'm just trying to remember where.
Denmark.
Yes, Uruguayan midfielder has had an all right campaign. I mean, it's hard to work out what he's actually played this season because obviously there's 2 leagues in Denmark. They have the first half of the season where they play the Super League and the Super League and relegation.
24 games.
For 24 games in total, 7.38 average rating in the relegation group, 7.15 average rating in the Super League. He's a defensive midfielder, puts himself about a lot, great tackles and interceptions numbers.
Gives you something to
profile's very
rotate
similar to Nakamba, as you say there. So I think for me, a great option for defensive midfield. He's only 23. Yeah. Not the tallest, but I don't think that's too much of a problem. He can do a job. And he wears number 5, so that's a thing.
That is a thing.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think for me, it's going to be about getting those bargains, and for around £4-5 million, he'd be a great addition. Up next then, wide players is the final area we're in his target. We've already looked at how they brought in Chiedoze Ogbene, but if we are going to play wingers next season, it's going to need a few more options, and there are some strong links with these other individuals. Tahith Chong is the first of which. Not Blackburn, Birmingham.
Yeah, he's a player that never got his chance in the Premier League, but I think he does deserve one.
Yeah, I have a couple of reservations about him because
I think he's a fine squad player though, and on his day he's a very good footballer.
And he has great hair.
And he has been around a Premier League setup. Well, he's been around one of the best Premier League setups. He was around in the Fergie era, weren't he?
Yeah, not the Fergie era, but just after one of the worst releases.
Yeah, maybe not then. Van Gaal and Moyes and Kai.
When did he come through? Tahith Chong. I feel like it was Solskjaer gave him a couple minutes.
He's only 20.
He was at United from 2018 to 2020. And then loan moves and didn't really play for United.
I thought he was older than 20. He's saying he's 20. Yeah, give him a chance.
Yeah. 23.
I was going to say, he's not 20.
He's in his early 20s, though. Can play midfield as well, so maybe that's a motivator. That's the thing, we look at these players, they want those versatile options that can play out wide, but he can also play midfield.
Alex Iwobi vibes.
That's not good.
That is good.
No, I've never heard someone say that gives me Alex Iwobi vibes.
Alex Iwobi was good this year.
That's like seeing someone on Tinder that gives you Ted Bundy vibes. Not a great thing, is it? That's not what you want, Alex Iwobi vibes. What, a bang average midfielder who's a bit alright on the wing? If you want a
party, you want Alex Iwobi vibes. You want an actual footballer, maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tahith Chong's good.
Yeah, he is.
And can come in midfield, could play on the wings. Yeah. Similar with Ogbene. Ogbene could play on the wings, but could also play as one of the forwards. So they want these versatile players that could play out wide, but have other roles. Yeah. Now, the other player they've been linked with is a left winger who can't really play anywhere else, but he is really talented. Samuel Ntenda. You may not have heard of him, but he plays for Sampdoria currently. Belgium U18 international. He's only 18 years old, but he is a really talented player. Great cutting in from that left-hand side. He's a great dribbler as well. Could go that way, could go that way. You never know where he's going to go, but he is a great dribbler. Yeah. Really good winger, and only 18. So for me, relatively low risk, around £1 million mark. I think Sampdoria would be happy to let him leave. So all in all, if they bring in all that talent that we've spoken about, that's 50 million quid.
That's
which is the parachute payment, isn't it? But that team looks like it could win the Premier League. Not win the Premier League.
Our words. Hang about.
I don't like it relegated.
Hang about a minute.
So yeah, if you bring in Trafford, McNair, Anderson, Travis, Drame, Bryan, Martinez, Dewsbury Hall, Hamer, Nakamba, Chong and Tender Ogbene.
You would have to sell a lot.
Would you?
No, you have to sell a couple.
Why?
Because that's going to be a big squad.
It's got to be a big squad.
You want to bring in 13 players.
Anderson, Travis, Drame, Bryan, Martinez, Dewsbury Hall, Hamer, Nakamba, Chong and Tender Ogbene. 13.
Yeah, you want to bring 13 footballers.
Yes.
On top of an already, 23, 4-man squad?
There's a lot
leaving. That's 39 footballers.
No, but Ogbene you wouldn't have, not Ogbene, and Tanda you wouldn't have to register because he's under 21. So that's one less.
It's not registering. It's having 40 people in your
It's not
dressing room.
40.
Okay, 35.
But they'll let others leave. There's already Lansbury, Mendes, Gomez, Eisted, that lot leaving. You'll probably sell Matt Macy. You'll probably let people like... You could let Dan Potts leave.
You don't need to find goalkeepers.
You definitely... And then to add another one on top of that. Yeah. The Infinity Stones of goalkeepers.
So you say you think they could stay up in the Premier League?
I think they could.
I think it'll be very, very tight. It'll be one of those that goes down to the final day.
Yeah, possibly. But I think there's...
Because for me, there's two teams that are nailed on relegated, and I'm not going to say them because that'll ruin the
predictions before the start of the season.
And I think it'll be a kind of with 3 or 4 teams that are battling out to not be in that final
I think there's
relegation
4
spot.
teams worse than them, though.
I think there's 3, which is enough, isn't it? In the end?
That is enough.
But I think on their day, though, they can do enough. It'll be tight. It'll be so close for Luton. It'll be one of those where if they stay up, it's an absolute fairy tale. But I think if they go down and they've worked hard.
My current way of thinking is they'll finish 16th.
17th.
Okay. Either way, they're up.
Yeah.
They're staying up.
I just think it'll be like it could be something like goal
I just want the
difference or
story. I
goals
just want the
scored.
fairy tale to continue. Up that at us. In the Prem now. Hopefully they can stay up. That's everything for today, though. It's been a good episode, I think. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow where we'll be talking about Manchester City, which sounds like there's no work to do there, but actually there's a lot of work to do, so we'll be doing that tomorrow. Well, there is. Just wait and see. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. It massively helps us out. If you want to keep the conversation going, head on down to the comment section down below if you're on YouTube and type something brilliant. Other than that, though, if you're listening on Spotify, then you can head on over to the YouTube to leave some feedback or to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to hit us up on any of the socials, check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all linked in the description of this video. That is everything for today. Thank you all very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.